Stroke Prevention and Recovery, Reclaiming Your Mind, Your Movement, and Your Life. Picture this. It's a calm morning. You stretch out of bed, reaching for the coffee pot. But something feels off. Your right arm won't move. You try to call for help, but the words catch in your throat. You're awake, but trapped inside your own body. This isn't just a nightmare. For nearly 800,000 Americans every year, this is how a stroke begins. Quietly, suddenly, cruelly. And for those of us over 60, the risk climbs higher with each passing year. But here's the truth I want you to hold on to today. A stroke doesn't have to steal your future. In fact, with the right steps, you may be able to stop it before it starts or reclaim your life if it already has. Brain, what you're up against and why it matters. Stroke is the 5th leading cause of death in the United States. More sobering still, it's the #1 cause of long-term disability among older adults. But here's the silver lining that too few people hear. Up to 80% of strokes are preventable. And even after a stroke, your brain still has the power to recover if you nourish it, move it, and fight for it. Your brain is like a garden. It needs care, attention, and the right environment to thrive, even after trauma. 8. What this guide will do for you. Whether you're here because you've had a stroke and are navigating the road back, you've watched someone you love struggle through recovery, or you're just ready to protect your brain like the treasure it is, you're in the right place. In the pages ahead, we'll walk through the warning signs of stroke, including the subtle ones most people ignore, what puts you at higher risk and how to take back control, the daily habits that rebuild a stronger, sharper brain, powerful recovery strategies that work with your body, not against it, and the emotional healing that often gets left out but matters just as much. A personal word from Dr. Jonathan Prescott. In my 30 years of practice, I've seen strokes steal moments, movement, and memories. But I've also seen something even more powerful: resilience. I've watched men and women in their 70s learn to walk again, speak again, laugh again. I've seen families rally. Brain. 1. Blood sugar crashes and morning fatigue. Why skipping breakfast can make your mornings dangerous. Imagine this. You wake up feeling a little shaky, maybe a bit lightheaded. You chalk it up to just getting older. But what if I told you the real culprit could be something as simple and fixable as skipping breakfast? After sleeping 7 to 8 hours, your body is running on empty. For older adults, that energy gap hits even harder. Your metabolism slows with age, and your body becomes less efficient at regulating blood sugar. So when you skip breakfast, your blood glucose levels dip dangerously low. This crash, medically known as hypoglycemia, can trigger sudden dizziness when you stand, mental fog or confusion when you try to read or focus, irritability or even anxiety before you've eaten anything, a higher risk of falls, especially if you take morning medications on an empty stomach. If you're on medications like insulin, metformin, or sulfonylureas, skipping breakfast isn't just unwise, it's risky. I've had patients in their 70s come in after a scary fainting episode, only to discover the real issue was low morning blood sugar. The solution? Start your day with slow-burning fuel, whole grain toast, a boiled egg, a banana, or a small bowl of oats. Even something simple can help stabilize your levels and keep you upright, focused, and safe. Buff. 2. Muscle wasting gets worse without morning fuel, the silent shrink that robs you of strength. Here's something no one tells you when you cross 60. You're not just aging, you're slowly losing muscle, a condition called sarcopenia. Now, you might think, I'm not a bodybuilder, why does that matter? But let me be blunt. Muscle equals mobility. Muscle equals balance. Muscle equals independence. And skipping breakfast, it speeds that loss. Think of your body like a car. Overnight, it idles, burning through fuel.
If you don't refuel in the morning, your body starts pulling energy from somewhere else, your muscles. That means weaker legs, making stairs harder, slower walking, which increases fall risk, fatigue even when you haven't done much, and eventually the loss of freedom to do everyday things on your own. But here's the hope. A protein-packed breakfast can help slow or even reverse this process. Some real-life options: 2 eggs and a slice of whole grain toast, Greek yogurt with chia seeds and berries, oatmeal with almond butter and pumpkin seeds, a protein smoothie with banana and flaxseed. One of my 68-year-old patients, Mr. Douglas, used to rely on a cane after 2 falls in 6 months. We added 20 grams of protein to his morning routine. 3 months later, he was walking unaided and back to gardening. Muscles aren't just for athletes. They're your lifeline to an active, safe, independent life. And breakfast? That's where it begins.
Part 3. The Stroke Prevention Toolkit. How to protect the engine that keeps you alive. Picture your body like a vintage car. Classic, wise, and built to last. But just like any finely tuned machine, it needs maintenance to avoid a major breakdown. And when it comes to stroke, the warning signs aren't always loud. Sometimes they're a little leak, a little shake in the steering wheel. But ignore them long enough and the engine fails. So here's your stroke prevention tune-up checklist. Blood pressure. This is your top priority. High blood pressure is the #1 cause of stroke. Keep it under 130/80. If it's often higher than that, talk to your doctor. Not next month, this week. Blood sugar, especially if you have diabetes or prediabetes. Uncontrolled sugar quietly damages your blood vessels like slow rust. Cholesterol and triglycerides. Imagine your arteries as highways. If they're clogged with fat and plaque, traffic slows, or worse, stops completely. A stroke is a traffic jam in your brain. Atrial fibrillation, AFib. If your heart rhythm is irregular, even if you feel fine, blood can pool and clot, then shoot up to the brain like a bullet. Medication or procedures can lower that risk by over 60%. Hydration and circulation. Thick blood flows like syrup. Thin blood flows like water. If you're not drinking enough, your blood thickens, raising stroke risk, especially in summer. So, what can you do every day? Move. A brisk walk, a swim, or 15 minutes of Tai Chi in the backyard. Your blood vessels love movement. Eat like you care. The Mediterranean diet isn't trendy. It's tried and tested. Olive oil, fatty fish, greens, whole grains, less salt. Sleep. Yes, sleep. Poor sleep increases stroke risk by up to 50%. Prioritize it. Breathe. Chronic stress isn't just a mental health issue. It tightens your vessels and jacks up your blood pressure. Oh, and if you're on medications like statins, aspirin, or blood pressure meds, take them every day. Missing a dose here or there might feel harmless. It's not. Stroke prevention isn't about one big move. It's about hundreds of small, quiet, daily choices that add up. Part 4. What happens after a stroke? Understanding the recovery road and why the first 6 months matter most. Let's imagine this. You've just had a stroke. Your life has been flipped upside down. Maybe you can't speak clearly. Maybe your right arm won't lift. Maybe you're just exhausted all the time. It's scary, it's overwhelming, but here's the truth I tell every patient. Recovery is possible. And the earlier you begin, the greater your chances. In the first 3 to 6 months, your brain enters a state called neuroplasticity, a window of time when it's most flexible and ready to rewire. It's like fresh clay, still moldable. Therapists call this the golden window. But recovery doesn't happen in isolation. It depends on the type and location of your stroke. Did it affect movement, speech, memory? How quickly you receive treatment? Every minute counts, literally. Your rehabilitation plan.
Physical therapy, occupational therapy, speech therapy. Each one is a key to unlocking parts of your life again. Family and community support. You don't heal alone. You heal in a circle. I've worked with patients who could barely move one side of their body, but after consistent therapy and support, they were walking again in 6 months. Others regained the ability to speak full sentences after losing language completely. Recovery is not linear. There are good days and frustrating days. But every small victory, wiggling a finger, pronouncing a new word, walking across the room, is a step toward a new normal. And here's something important. Even years after a stroke, the brain can still improve. It just needs the right signals: repetition, nutrition, encouragement, and patience.
Part 5. Brain Rehabilitation, the journey to reconnect mind and body. If a stroke feels like someone flipped the switch and shut off a part of your brain, then recovery is about learning how to turn it back on, slowly, steadily, one step at a time. After a stroke, the challenge isn't just walking or talking again. It's the eerie sense that a part of you has gone missing, your ability to express, care for yourself, or recall the familiar. But here's what I need you to hold on to. The brain can relearn, it can rebuild, and you don't have to do it alone. The pillars of post-stroke brain rehabilitation. Physical therapy, PT. It's not just about movement, it's about reawakening the link between your will and your body. One of my patients couldn't even stand after 3 weeks, but after 3 months of regular PT, she walked out into her garden to water the plants. Occupational therapy, OT, teaches you how to fold clothes, hold a fork, cook a meal. These small victories bring back pride and independence. Speech-language therapy. It's not just about saying words correctly. It's about reconnecting with the world through speech, expression, and even swallowing. Cognitive therapy, to rebuild memory, focus, and problem-solving. Think of it as a gym for your brain. Emotional support. Many stroke survivors face depression or anxiety. It's not weakness, it's a natural response to trauma, and your spirit needs healing too. I've seen patients once thought beyond help write letters again, play chess, and laugh out loud because they never gave up on their brain's ability to adapt. Part 6. Post-stroke nutrition, eating as a form of healing. Think of food not just as fuel, but as daily medicine for your recovering nervous system. The right diet can calm inflammation in the brain, repair damaged tissues, improve blood flow and oxygen delivery, prevent another stroke. Foods to make your allies. Leafy greens, spinach, kale, rich in folate and vitamin K to protect the blood vessels in your brain. Fatty fish, salmon, sardines, loaded with omega-3s that reduce inflammation and improve brain signaling. Berries and citrus fruits, packed with antioxidants to support cellular repair. Whole grains, oats, brown rice, quinoa, help keep blood sugar stable and energy levels up. Nuts and seeds, almonds, walnuts, flaxseed, great sources of healthy fat. Part 7. Mental health after stroke, healing the wounds no one sees. You survived the stroke. You're walking again, maybe talking again, maybe even smiling in front of others. But deep down, something isn't quite right. It's like a cloud has moved in, and it won't lift. This is more common than you think. Post-stroke depression affects up to 50% of stroke survivors. And no, it's not a weakness. It's not in your head. It's in your brain, chemically, emotionally, and deeply real. Why does it happen? Chemical changes in the brain after a stroke can disrupt neurotransmitters like serotonin and dopamine, your natural mood stabilizers. Loss of function and independence can bring frustration, sadness, even anger. Fear of recurrence and the trauma of the event itself can leave lingering anxiety. So, what can you do? You're not broken, you're healing. And just like your muscles need rehab, your mind needs care too. Here's what truly helps many of my patients. Talk therapy or stroke-specific support groups.
Being heard, validated, and connected is medicine. Mindfulness practices, deep breathing, journaling, or simply sitting quietly for 10 minutes a day can lower anxiety. Faith and prayer. For many, spiritual practices offer grounding and hope when words fall short. Medication. Antidepressants or anti-anxiety medications prescribed thoughtfully can be life-changing. Don't be afraid to ask. And remember, emotional wounds take time to heal, but they do heal. You deserve joy again, laughter again, peace again. Home. Part 8. Adapting your home, making safety your ally, not your limitation. After a stroke, every hallway, every bathroom, even every sock on the floor can become a hazard. But a few changes can turn your home into your ally for independence, not your obstacle course. Here's what I often recommend to my patients. Grab bars in the shower and near the toilet, not because you're weak, but because you're wise. Non-slip mats in wet areas to prevent slips and falls, one of the most common causes of rehospitalization. Clear walking paths by moving unnecessary furniture and cords. A wide open path equals freedom. Handrails on stairs or steps. Steady hands lead to steady feet. Pill organizers or smart medication reminders, because forgetting one dose can undo weeks of progress. Voice assistants or simple technology aids. Alexa, timers, or one-button emergency alerts can offer huge relief.
Part 9. The Silent Warriors. Support for caregivers and loved ones. Behind every stroke survivor is someone who quietly holds it all together. Maybe it's a spouse who helps with daily rehab. Maybe it's an adult child balancing hospital visits with a full-time job. Or a neighbor who delivers groceries without being asked. If that someone is you, thank you. You're doing sacred work, even if the world doesn't see it. But let me tell you the truth many caregivers won't say out loud. Some days, you're exhausted. Some days, you're scared. Some days, you wonder if your life will ever feel like yours again. That doesn't make you selfish. It makes you human. Here's what I tell every caregiver I meet. Take real breaks, not just sitting near them breaks. Time for you. Don't isolate yourself. Join a caregiver support group, even an online one. You'll realize you're not alone. Watch for your own warning signs: irritability, trouble sleeping, hopelessness. These aren't signs of weakness, they're signs you need help. Let the survivor do what they can do. Helping isn't about doing everything for them. It's about giving them back pieces of control. Celebrate every small win. A first word, a button fastened, a full spoonful eaten. These are victories. You're not just supporting recovery, you're shaping resilience. But remember, you matter too. Don't pour from an empty cup. Final thoughts. One stroke isn't the end. It's a new beginning. I've sat across from stroke survivors who couldn't speak a word, and months later, they gave a toast at their granddaughter's wedding. I've watched a man who couldn't lift his hand paint again with his left. So here's what I want you to hold on to. A stroke may have changed your life, but it doesn't get to define your future. Your brain is still alive, still learning, still reaching for hope. With every step, every breath, every good choice, you're telling it, I'm not done. Let this be your mantra. Eat to nourish not just your body, but your recovery. Move not just for fitness, but for freedom. Sleep not out of routine, but as repair. Laugh not to hide pain, but to let joy back in. And if you're here because you haven't had a stroke, but you're trying to prevent one, you're already ahead. Keep walking that path. It matters. Every heartbeat, every choice, every sunrise you greet with courage. Stroke isn't the end of your story. It's a hard chapter, but not the last one. And the next one, it's going to be full of strength, clarity, and purpose.